I want you to see that I've sorta already sketched a pumpkin onto my canvas, but I was super stressed about it and I wasn't taking my time, and I'm not super pleased with it, but I'm gonna use it as a guideline, and then I'll probably change it up as I go. Okay, so the first color I'm gonna use is this super bright, it's Delta Mermaid Blue. What better color to use for a beachy beach than Mermaid Blue? This is a 6x6 canvas we're working on, and I've already painted it white with Anita's white, and we may, like I said, change up the background just a little bit as we go. First thing I'm gonna do though is go ahead and just paint in my main color. Look at this. OMG, super digging it. Yeah, the doctors, you know, that's the first time in a long time that I've been to the doctor and had to wait for that long. You know, normally you get in and out pretty fast, but I tell you what, I was losing my patience. I was losing my religion is what I was really losing. So I'm gonna get started by just painting in somewhat in my pencil line. All right, I'm tempted to finish that one out, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just paint them all. So we'll just paint all the little sections. Love this color. Yeah, I'm an Aries, Felicia, and I march to my own drum for the most part. I mean, here's the deal with me. I am a big time rule follower. I am a rule follower. I do not break rules at all, but I don't like being bossed around. Thank you for the sprinkles, Elaine. I don't like being bossed around, and I don't like being pushed around, and I don't really like being disrespected. And I feel like, you know, if you make an appointment, I can't even tell you how upset I was, but if you make an appointment for a specific time, you know, to me, my time is just as important. Now, I'm not that big of a biatch. I know things happen in doctor's offices. Things get delayed sometimes. Things happen. But come on, 2 hours? What happened there? Oh my God, yeah. I know, it's so frustrating. So frustrating. It's like, you know, honestly, I don't mean to be a big old bee with an itch, but we're paying for that time. You know, you want to charge me $250 every time I walk in the door, but you can't be respectful of my time. I think you should get a discount for every 15 minutes they leave you sitting for nothing. I am not a late person either, Felicia. Being late panics me. So my philosophy is, hang on, I can't talk at the same time. Early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. That's just me. That's how I feel. If I'm running late, I am in panic mode. So that's my gripe for the day. It just put me completely behind in everything. So where's the value of my time? All right, I know that's kind of wanky a little, but we'll work it out. Okay, so there's our overall base color of our pumpkin. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm super tempted to use this. I found this little upside down J in my, oh, that's funny, Rima. In my little vitriograph, and I'm tempted to use it, but it's got such a fat end that I think I'm gonna save it for a pumpkin later in the week that we're gonna do with all glass, but it's super cute, isn't it? Woo-hoo-hoo, love it. So cute, we're gonna use it very soon. So for now, I'm just going to grab another brush, if I can find it, and I'm gonna put some of the brown, the raw umber on my canvas, and we're gonna do a quick little stem. I'm gonna put some green too, of course. Yeah, Rima, I'm curious to know too if they paid that bill. I'm sure they didn't. I feel certain they did not, but good for you for doing it. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm just gonna do a little fatty. Kind of like these little stems like this best. I'm not gonna go down into my pumpkin yet. I love it, Rima. Not gonna go down into the sections of my pumpkin yet. I'm gonna wait until I get my pumpkin finished. I'm gonna dab a little bit of green on there. We'll do a little rinse. This pumpkin is gonna be super bright, so I hope we all like it. Not done one quite this bright before. So I just added a little bit of white there too. We'll touch it up as well. Rima funny. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my brush again that I was using, and it's just a 1/2 inch flat, not that one. That one's the icky one. Where are my brushes? Where do I keep putting them? Here it is. I got too many brushes in my bucket. Look at that, y'all. I've got like 6 brushes out when I shouldn't. I should be washing those. Okay, so the first little bump I'm gonna do, I'm going to do with, trying to decide. I think actually I'm gonna do a mix up. I'm gonna take some white and some of that blue, and I'm gonna make myself a lighter blue. That's what I should have started with. And I'm gonna come in add a little bit of that to my center, especially dead center. Now I'm gonna go into my white on the corner, just a tiny bit on the corner. I'm gonna offload that, and I'm gonna come over here and just add some of that white. Be a little heavier handed maybe to that one side. I'm just gonna go in and do it like this. It's a little messier, but I really want it to have some texture. All right, so now I'm gonna go into just that dark blue and come over here and redefine that. I should have started with the light. I think we'll redefine. Guys, I'm just futzing. All right, pretty happy with that. We're just gonna keep going. Oh, that might be true. My girl Carla, her son is autistic, so I might have to ask her if that's true. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of that medium tone on. I'm gonna come back into the darker blue again, and we'll define that right next to white. Let's get a little more. Now we'll do our white on our other side. And we'll do the right side of that with the white. And don't be afraid to be a little messy. All right, so we'll go into the medium again. Oh, that is awesome. I had zero idea. So I'm adding that middle blue just kind of to the center. Let's get the dark blue just on the corner again. We'll hit that left side of that one. And on this side, we'll do the whites. Be a little more generous because the white is kind of trying to just blend in. Let me rinse that. It's giving me fits. I ain't hold my mouth right or something. Everybody's got me in a tizzy today. Like I ain't important. So right now I want to remind you guys of something real quick while I'm painting and thinking of things. So if you joined the Sunflower Challenge, if you're new, and you joined our Sunflower and I'm digging that, and Pumpkins Challenge, immediately after you join, you will be getting an email. I mean, like within a minute. If you don't get one immediately, you really did, but it's probably in your junk or your spam folder, because it's an automatic thing. So if you didn't get one of two things happened. It went to your spam folder, or, hang on, or you entered your email wrong. This happens automatically. So if you have signed up and you have not received that immediate email, you need to go and check your spam folder, because 99 times out of 100, that's where it's hiding. It's hiding for you in that promo or spam folder. So I'm just doing the white again. The white is our highlight. Then we'll go in and do the dark. So if you still can't find it, please email us at info@artshattered.com. Thank you very much. That's my last public service announcement. I promise it went out. All right, I'm starting to love this. We're going to touch it up just a little bit too. Well, Louise, that will be a link in the Shattered Circle group, not the one you see on Roll Tide, not the one that you see on a Facebook page or the ad. You are a member, so you don't pay. Oh, I forgot to do my middle color. Dadgummit. So we'll put a little bit of middle color. Now we'll go in to the dark blue. Try not to get my hand in it. I kind of did this backwards, didn't I? Kind of working backwards. We'll rinse and we'll do our whites. Roll Tide. I don't hate the dogs either, Louise. Dogs are all right too in my book. Oh, dadgummit, I put the dark on the wrong side. That's why I'm losing my mind. See how crazy I am? I'm gonna just go back over it. Dark touches the rind. Y'all just let me do that, didn't you? I'm not blaming y'all, I promise. Go back into that dark and redo right here. There we go. Gonna rinse this. I'm digging this color pumpkin, y'all. And I got some pretty glass that's gonna look really good with it too. Check out that piece of glass. I'm gonna get a little white. I'm gonna hit this top edge again. I'm gonna get a teeny bit of white, brush it out. I'm gonna hit the side of this pumpkin stem. And guys, when I'm doing this, I'm a Nick chick. I hear ya. When I'm doing stuff like this and you are watching me do this shading, seriously, don't stress about it. Don't worry that you aren't shading perfectly. A lot of times I am probably taking too much time with it, but I totally get doing like shading like this. Instead of getting it on the corner of your brush, just dip it in with your bristles, just a very minimal amount, and just kind of scrub it in to your wet on wet colors. That works just as well. It's kind of the beginner way of doing it. Don't freak out about it being really perfect. I'm gonna do it again, tiny bit on my bristles. So I'm just gonna come in, just scrub some in, get a little dab, we'll scrub it around. So I know a lot of folks worry so much about shading. So we'll add a little here. But I honestly like it better if it's a little messy. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with my other color. My dark color, I'm just gonna dip my bristles, teeny bit in there, and you can come in and do the same thing. Just blend some of that darker color in very lightly with just using the tips of your bristles. We'll do it right here, just kind of blend it in. The tips. We'll do a little blend in here, a little blend in here. Just keep it simple. Don't get yourself worried about it. See? That even made it look a little more fun, didn't it? I want to dry this because since we're not adding any glass to our, hang on. I got one more thing to do. I want to take the stem into the pumpkin a little bit. So I'm gonna take a tiny little, this is a number 2 round point. It's kind of a liner brush. And I'm gonna just roll it into my brown. I'm gonna tip it with a little green too. And I'm going to go very lightly. I'm gonna start about 1/2 inch here away from my stem, and very lightly, I'm gonna almost barely touch, pull towards my stem, and the closer I get to my stem, the more pressure I put on, so it forms kind of a skinny point fat end. Does that make sense? See that? Let's do it again. So I'm gonna tip into my brown, swirl it into my brush so there's plenty on there. Then I'm just gonna poke into that green, and we're gonna do it like right here. So I'm gonna start about 1/2 inch down this center section. I'm gonna barely touch, and then as I get closer to my stem, I push down on my brush, and it makes a fatter line. See that? That help? Let's do one more. Dip into your brown, swirl your paintbrush, dot into that green a little, and we'll start right here, barely touch. And as you get closer, press down so it makes a fatter little growth. I don't know what you call that. This is a number 2 round. It's kind of like a pointy liner brush. So I'm just gonna get, with my dirty brush, I'm gonna get just a bit of white on my brush, blend it in a little, and I'm gonna come in, oops, that was a little too much, and just add a tiny bit of white over top of those stems. So that's what we end up with. Super, super cute, all right? Now, the next thing I'm gonna do, something you may, if you're new, you may have not seen before. Let me grab my pen. Since we're not doing any glass on our pumpkin directly, hang on, let me get this is for notifications. And if you are ready to stop getting them, text the single word, stop. Don't text a whole sentence, because they don't know. You have to text the word stop. Okay, I'm gonna grab one of my pens. I need to go get more because some of mine are out of ink. I think I grabbed the wrong bucket. This is a number 5 archive quality micron pen. Micron is the name, okay? It's just a tiny little pen, and if you use something like this, it will not run under the resin. And all I'm gonna do is very lightly outline a few sections of my pumpkin. So I want you to look at it now. Boom, boom, boom. And now what I'm gonna do is take my pen, and I'm not gonna trace all the way around. I'm gonna do strokes, okay? So watch what I'm doing. I'm gonna start right here and do it. Oops, that pen's not working. Oh man, what's up with my pens? Let me see if this one works. This one works. This is a graphic brand. It's the same thing. It's an archive quality pen. Same thing, different brand. So I'm gonna take my pen and just do a line. Then I can do a couple of dots just for fun. Then we'll do a line, a line, line. All right, so in my next section, I'm gonna do the same thing. Just gonna do a line, line, and I'm not even trying for all the lines to be perfect. I'll show you that close up. Oops, I got paint on there. Alternatively, you can totally use black paints. I have good case of arthritis, so it's super hard for me to line. So I want you to check that out now that I've lined it with a pen. It just kind of gives it a little extra something, right? So now what I can do too is take my little pen and give myself some swirlies coming out of my pumpkin. Voila. Cute, huh? Now we're gonna do the fun stuff. Y'all ready for the fun stuff? It does just give it a little more definition. You can totally do that with paint, but like I said, it's so much easier for me to use a pen because I'm challenged when it comes to tiny little precious lines. So we are going to make a 1/2 ounce, well, yes, we're gonna make a 1/2 ounce of resin. So I'm gonna do a 1/4 ounce resin, 1/4 ounce of hardener. So I'm gonna mark my cup so I know where to stop. 1/4 ounce hardener, 1/4 ounce resin. Does give it personality. Maybe I should draw one myself. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my gloves. I think these are usable. I've used them a couple of times, but I think they're still usable. Let's get that hand in and see. Yes. All right. We're gonna pour some resin. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, guys. I don't see what getting frazzled does for me. First thing we're gonna do before we pour resin is add our glass. Now I'm gonna start with just a tiny handful of Starfire, which is perfectly clear, okay? Not 100% necessary. Use whatever glass your heart desires. I am using clear. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use my hand to keep from dumping it everywhere. So I'm gonna use my hand as a guide. I'm just gonna lay it in where I want it. Boom shakalaka. Don't worry if it gets all up into your pumpkin, it'll look just fine. Don't stress it. Now I'm gonna push it off of this corner a little bit because I'm gonna put some fun little nuggets there, such as this very interesting seashell. We're gonna add him right here. And look at this one. So I'm gonna stick that one like right on the corner. And I definitely want to use this piece of glass. So look how cool this is. Very blue iridescent. Hey, Judy. And we're gonna throw in this piece that has a little red in it, but I like a little pop of extra color. And I'm just gonna continue adding a few seashells here and there. I do have this one too, so I think I'll stick it in. Some of these are a little big, so we'll see how it goes. I don't want to get too crazy, so that's all I think I'm going to do. And when we are done pouring the resin, so I'm going to show you this kind of close up. Okay, so that is our little seashells. Add whatever you want. When we're done, I'm gonna add some frost to the pumpkin too, so don't let me forget to do that, okay guys? Again, I'm gonna use, I don't know what happened to the blocks that were on my table, but I'm gonna use these, even though they're a little bit big, and when I'm done, I will change them out. I'll go find my Oh no, they're not too big. Look at there. They're perfect. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna mix my resin. Let me get my gloves back on. Ugh, so thirsty. Isn't this cute? Love it. Okay, so I have my resin. What I use art resin exclusively. It's a 2-part system, mixed 50-50. So I'm gonna put a 1/4 ounce of the hardener in 1 cup. 1/4 ounce. Go slow so you don't pass your line. That's the hardener. So next, I'm going to put a 1/4 ounce of the resin in my 2nd cup. Then we'll be able to pour directly in 1 cup to the other and not waste another cup. So, whoa, Natalie, perfect. So now what I can do is find a handy dandy palette knife I've been using. That is MIA now. And I'm gonna scrape one into the other. Okay, so I'm just gonna scrape my resin into my hardener, and then we're gonna mix. Okay, so we'll ditch that. Now we're gonna stir this for 3 minutes. And Rima, I don't know if Catherine's here, but can you time me? Start now. Somebody, anybody, whoever said timing me. I wasn't looking at the screen. So we're gonna stir this for 3 minutes. So while I'm stirring, if you are new here and have questions, or if you're not new here and have questions about the 4-day challenge that starts next week, or maybe you have a question about the shattered circle or about resin in general, I am here to answer your questions. So, how much of the entire mixture per project? Depends on the project, Lori. This project, for instance, is only going to take a 1/2 ounce of resin. So the bigger your project and the more glass or objects that you add to it, the more resin you use. So in my group, in the challenge, and in my Shattered Circle membership, I always tell you exactly how much resin it takes to complete your project. So this will only take a 1/2 ounce, but if I was working on a 12 by 12 canvas, obviously it would take more resin for that project. So it is 1000% dependent on what you're doing. Now there is a resin calculator on the Art Resin website, but trust me when I tell you it is wrong. They told me on the Art Resin website when I did my countertop, they told me I needed 50 ounces of resin to pour resin on my countertop, and I literally used 16. So I knew when it said 50, I was like, that is not right. So I just have to figure it out on my own. But I always give you that information. Yes, Wendy, this is a 6x6. I love this color. Hey, Bev. Well, like I said, Lori, Art Resin does have a calculator on their website, but it is so inaccurate, I don't even know what to tell you. I've been doing this for a very long time, close to, thank you, Colleen, close to 10 years, or even more, really, probably since 2006, so that's way more than 10 years. So I just have a knack for it, but you know, it's 100% dependent on what you're doing. I knocked something off. Not sure what it was. Oh, a piece of glass, I see it. Thank you guys. So our 3 minutes is up. I'm gonna pick this piece of glass up that I dropped off of here, and then I dropped it again. Oh, this piece of glass doesn't want to be on here. Okay, so what I like to do is pour resin on my glass area first. So I'm just going to use the same knife, and I'm just going to start drizzling over the top of my shells. Make sure they're all covered, and what the resin does is it flows from the top of the shell down through all the crevices and glues that shell to, dadgummit, these gloves are too big or something. It glues it to the canvas. So you want to start with resin on top and let it flow over your pieces. So we're just going to keep drizzling. Always go in methodical order. I don't like go all over the place. So if I go left to right or right to left, I always know where I am and what I've resined, so it's not a guessing game. So I try to be super methodical in my process, and that wants to drip, and I don't want it to. So now what I'll do is dump the rest. I'm just going to turn it upside down for a second while I micromanage this bottom edge. I don't want it to drip down my sides and create like lines and bumps on the bottom. So I'm going to micromanage that just a little bit. Then we'll scrape that out. Oops, look what I did. I just dripped it on my edge. Scrape that out, and I'm just going to use my finger to wiggle that around. Make sure I've covered my entire canvas. Super cute. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to hit it with a torch first. You don't have to use a torch. You can use a heat gun. I bought a really inexpensive heat gun from Amazon for about 12 bucks, I think, 16 maybe. I don't remember. It's been forever ago. And you can totally use a heat gun. Mine is on the other side of the room, or I would show you. But I do a lot of projects, and I do a lot of large projects, and a heat gun takes too long for me. So I like to use a torch. I'm going to ditch these. So I like to use a torch. Don't let it scare you. You do not have to use something like this. You can use a heat gun, or you can use a small kitchen type creme brulee torch. And all you want to do is run it real quick over the top of your art piece for a few seconds. And what that does is pops all the bubbles that you created when you were stirring that resin. So anytime you're mixing things together, it incorporates air into your project. So we just want to get rid of those bubbles. So this is what we end up with. I do have something I need to do real quick. Hang on. That is super sticky. Let me grab a wipe. And clean off my little trowel that I was using, because I see a little piece of something that has found its way into my art piece. There might have been my cups, had debris in them, and here. Little peach fuzzy hair. That could be cat hair. Not gonna lie. Okay, so now that we have popped all the bubbles and it's nice and clean, I'm gonna add some frost to the pumpkin. So what I'm doing is, there you go, Felicia, grow your own pumpkin patch. What I'm using is little seed beads that I bought from Hobby Lobby. It's called Bead Treasures. This whole container is $3.99, but I always buy them when they're on sale. So I am going, and these are, it's called Crystal Luster. They're kind of clear. So I'm gonna dump a few of these into my cup. And I'm gonna add a little bit to the top of my pumpkin. And I'm not gonna stress. Oh, I see something else. What is he doing now? If it gets outside of the pumpkin area, all I have to do is use my tool to get it back where it needs to be. So I'm just gonna sprinkle it on and not worry too much about where it goes, because then I can push it around. I'm gonna add a few little frosties down here on the bottom as well, just for fun. All right, so now that I have them on there, I can take my tool, make sure they're all on my pumpkin, and kind of separate them to where I want them to be. I don't want it on my stem. Just kind of push them around and get them where you want them. And then you are done. Let me show you kind of close up how this looks now. Done. Voila. Now I got resin on my finger. So here it is. Is that not cute? Look how good the beads look. So pretty. My goodness, I love it. Check out all the goodness at the bottom. Love, love, love it. So